Hey guys, it has been a long time since I filmed a video, and Brielle's asleep right now, so she's taking her nap. Finally, it's been a rough day, so I thought I would film my birth story, labor, delivery. I had a positive experience, so I want to share that. So yeah, 9.5 months later, I'm going to share it. I miss filming so much, but being a mom is a lot of work, I'm sure, as you guys know if you're parents. So I'm trying to get adjusted to everything. We also have been sick, and we just got over it, and we're all good now. So yeah. So grab a snack, grab something to drink, and let's get into it. So, first things first, Brielle is 9.5 months old, which is insane to me how fast it went. I like blinked and she's 9.5 months old. We're already planning her first birthday, which I'm so excited about. That's like my thing. I love planning parties. So yeah, update on her. She's doing really good. She is so active. Her doctor said she's so advanced. She's the funniest person. Like, she makes these cute little faces and then laughs after. She's already been crawling since she was 6 months old. She's standing up pretty much on her own. Yeah, it's amazing how she is. I'm actually in her playroom right now. So my labor story. So I actually went to the doctor, Brielle was born June 17th. And I went to the doctor probably the Monday before that. I don't remember the date. And I was feeling a little sick. She said it was probably just pregnancy congestion that happens at the end when you're about to deliver. So I was like, okay, whatever. Everything was fine, but I wasn't dilating yet. So I was already past my due date. My due date was the 13th. That's the day I went to the doctor. Yeah. And she said we have a few options that we can do. They have like this balloon thing they can do to help you dilate, or you can do like a pill. So I went with the pill because it's easier. And then we scheduled my induction date to be the 17th. Well, we scheduled for me to go in midnight on June 16th, which is really the 17th, but I always consider it the 16th because I got there like so early, which, if you know me, I'm always early to everything, so maybe that's why. And I got admitted to the hospital. They checked me, and everything was good. They do COVID checks now just to make sure like everything's good. And by this time, I was not feeling sick. I mean, no congestion, nothing. And the test comes back and they're like, you have COVID. And I was like, what? I thought it was just pregnancy congestion. And they're like, no, you tested positive for COVID. My nurse was amazing. I don't remember her name because it's been a little bit. But she was so good. She's like, don't worry, nothing's going to change. Many people have given birth having COVID, and especially how you've had mild symptoms, like, you're fine. So I was like, okay. So we did the pill and they hooked me up to the monitor. Baby was good. That monitor was so confusing because it kept moving, so they had to come back in and like readjust it because it was just hard to like have it stay put. I don't know why. I don't know why, but the monitor just monitors like the baby's heartbeat, and so they just had to keep coming in and fixing it because it kept like folding over. It was very frustrating. So yeah, I did the pill. I don't remember what it's called, but basically it's to dilate you. And so I'm looking at my notes. So yeah, so that started, and immediately the nurse comes in throughout the night. I couldn't really sleep because when I'm excited about something, I can't sleep. Like, it's really hard for me to sleep. So I was wide awake, and every time she came in, she's like, you need to rest, just like close your eyes, it's okay. And so one of the times she came in, she's like, you're having a lot of contractions, do you feel it? I didn't feel anything. And so she's like, okay, that's good, everything's progressing. And then the next morning came, which I didn't know that they switched nurses. I don't know why I thought I would have the same nurse like for the whole duration of my stay because I had COVID, but no, they still switched nurses. And the nurse I had on Friday, June 17th, was not good. I did not like her. First of all, she came in, she was so rude. She was demanding that my mom and my husband leave, which I was like, why? And she was saying because I had COVID, and I was like, no. Previous nurse basically said everything was okay, it was gonna be the same. So we had to get special permission from my doctor, the doctors on call, for them to stay, because I was like, I'm not delivering this baby without my mom and husband. Like, that's insane. So anyways, we got the approval for that, and the on-call doctor came in. They did the cervix checks, but those are the worst. I hate those checks. They're just so painful and uncomfortable. I just don't like them. If I ever get pregnant again, I will not do them until after that epidural. But so everything was progressing, and then I started feeling some contractions. They were a little bit more stronger. I was dilated to like a 2, and everything was fine. I personally did not want to feel like any pain with my first pregnancy. I know a lot of people go till they can't, and which I applaud them. Even the ones that don't get the epidural, I applaud you. That you are so brave. I just couldn't do that. I have a low pain tolerance. On-call doctor came in. She's like, it'll be a while. Like, it'll probably be a few days before you deliver. So I was like, wow, a few days? And she's like, yeah, with first pregnancies, it takes a while. Even though we gave you the pill to dilate, like, it'll still be a while. So just sit back, relax, you know, I don't think you need the epidural yet. And I was just like, okay, like, all right. I mean, I'm feeling the contractions, but I guess I could still like work through them. At this point, you can't eat anything. So they gave me like popsicles and stuff like that, like Jello, stuff I could eat. So let me get some water. So as they come, they're like, it'll be a while. There's actually a lot of people who are in labor and delivery, and you'll probably be the last one, because a lot of them, they either have, this is like their second or third pregnancy, or there's some that are first, but they're like progressed more than I am. So she's like, just relax. So I start feeling more contractions, and I'm like, you know what? I just want the epidural, because I want to enjoy my first experience, and that was just my preference. If someone didn't want to, I understand. Whatever them as a mom is comfortable with. So I was like, I want to get the epidural. And the nurse, she's like, most people don't get it till 6 or 7 centimeters dilated. And I was like, I feel like I'm more along than the 2. And she was like, okay, I'll have the doctor come in and check. Before they did the other cervix check, I wanted that epidural, so the guy came in and did the epidural, and you kind of have to like bend over, you have to be still. At this point, my contractions were kind of pretty consistent, and they were kind of like period cramps, a little bit more. We did the epidural, and during that, the nurse didn't explain to me, like, when the guy who's doing it, he's saying like left, right, center, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm getting a contraction, so I'm like trying to focus on that and not move. And so when he does that, he's like, center, right? And I was like, right. And then so he finishes. That was probably the worst part, because I got a contraction during the epidural, but you have to be really still. So that was the worst part, I would say, of my labor delivery, was the epidural. And after, I was like, okay, I feel good. They like check you, make sure everything, and then they leave the room, And about like 15 minutes later, I get a contraction and I feel it all on my right side. And I was like, oh wow, this is intense now. So I push the button like to call the nurse, and I'm like, I'm feeling, I don't feel it on my left, but I feel it on my right pretty intensely. So she comes in and she lays me on my right side, and she's like, that'll help like flow, I guess, not the medicine, but you know, the epidural more to the right, so you're numbed more on the right. So we did that. Another contraction comes, I still feel everything on the right. And I was like, this is what he was talking about, left, right, center, which I was like, they should have explained that to me. So I'm like, okay, I can't, this is intense and I want to be able to enjoy it. And so he comes back in, the person who does epidural, I don't know like the term for him, and they redo it. But now I'm double numbed on this side, on the left, and the right's pretty numbed. So I got double the numb on the left, and the right was just like the normal amount. So that I was like, okay, kind of concerned about, but they were like, don't worry, like it'll be fine. And it was fine. So fast forward like maybe an hour, they do a cervix check and they're like, you're at a 9. And they're like shocked because no one thought I was going to deliver on Friday. They were thinking, they were projecting me Saturday or Sunday, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen faster. So I was at a 9. My doctor wanted her to deliver the baby because she's really, really good. I chose her for a reason. She was amazing throughout the whole entire pregnancy. So I wanted to make sure that it was her. And she's like, I'm off at 6. If the baby is not born before then, you're gonna have the on-call doctor. And the on-call doctor, she was fine, nothing against her, but I was more comfortable with my doctor. So anyways, at a 9, they were like, let's start practice pushing. So we do some practice pushes, and then my doctor comes in and she's like, you waited till the last minute. You know, she comes in, they check, I'm already at a 10. So fast. So she's like, we're gonna start pushing. I had already been pushing, and from the on-call doctor, which I wish I wouldn't have done that. I wish I would have waited for my doctor. But anyways, so my doctor comes in and I pushed for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, a few pushes, and she was here. It was that fast. It was really easy. No pain, no anything. I had a 2nd-degree tear, and I know people were like, oh my gosh, it's like wild that happened, but it wasn't that bad. I got stitched up, everything. Gustavo was able to cut the umbilical cord. I'm sure if you saw that in our birth vlog, and everything went really, really well. It was fast. I knew it would happen on Friday. I just had a feeling that it was going to be June 17th. Just because her due date was the 13th. I was like, she did not want to come out yet. But it was the 17th, and she was so healthy. She has so much hair. It's crazy looking back on those pictures and videos, but she was really healthy. They did check her for COVID. She didn't get it. I wore a mask the whole entire time. I even wore a mask after a week after she was born, just to make sure everything was fine. She was perfectly fine. She didn't have COVID, and it was amazing. It was the best moment of my life. And like, I just look back at videos and pictures and I'm like, wow, like I can't believe that I like did that. And like, women are amazing. It's crazy that we can just birth a whole child. Even the people who have twins are more, like, it's just so crazy. It blows my mind. Yeah, so after that was fine. They make you like make sure you're okay, but after, when they told me to stand, it was like a few, so she was born at 5:03 p.m. on June 17th. She was 6 pounds 5 ounces, 19.5 inches long. So she was a little baby, and she was perfect. She's perfect now, but she was perfect. And yeah, so a few hours after, they asked me if I can stand and like kind of walk around a little bit, and they had switched nurses by then, thank God, because the other nurse, I couldn't with her. She was just, I think our personalities kind of clashed. It was such a good experience. I wish I didn't have COVID, because we had so many plans to like go get me. I had been wanting my whole pregnancy a sandwich from Jersey Mike's, and we didn't get to do that because we couldn't leave the room. We did end up leaving Saturday, like mid-afternoon. We only stayed one night, and I was ready to get out of there. It was a lot. You can't leave the room at all. And so yeah, it was really neat. It was such a good experience. I just wish I wouldn't have had COVID. I feel like it would have been even better. But the laboring and delivering itself was very easy. I think the hardest part was the epidural, but other than that, it was so easy, so fast, and I was so grateful that she was there. I was so grateful my doctor, when she came in, she's like, you waited till literally the last minute. Since she was born at 5:03, her shift was over at 6. So I was like, she has to come now. And she did, and even the pushing wasn't that bad. But yeah, 2nd-degree tear, but my doctor was very calm. It was like a calming moment, like very positive, that I liked. And so yeah, I'm happy I was finally able to share my birth story, because it's been 9.5 months. So yes, and yeah, I have to wake up Brio. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. I'm going to try and film more. We haven't been doing much since we were sick, and then just like, you know, life gets in the way, but I want to do YouTube more because I really love it. I love filming videos for you guys. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.